Have you ever used memory wire to make a necklace? Today I'm going to be playing with some memory wire to make a beautiful focal necklace with lots of dangles. Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Carol, and on this channel I show you how easy it is to make your own jewellery. I was thinking today I haven't had a play with some memory wire for a while, and I was going to make a bracelet, but then I decided why not make a necklace instead? So that's what I'm going to do. Let's get started. I'll walk you step by step through the process of making it and talk about everything you need. What I have in front of me here are three different types of beads. I've got some beautiful 8mm glass crackle beads, and the colour here is medium sea green. Isn't it delicious? Now, crackle beads look like they're all broken inside, but they're not. They're absolutely stunning. They just add a bit of texture to your jewellery. I have some jet coloured 3mm glass bicones, and I have these beautiful metal stardust beads. Now these ones are grey and they've got this gorgeous sparkly finish. And those are all the beads that I'm going to use today. As well as that, I have a piece of memory wire, a necklace size memory wire, and I will leave a link in the description box below to all of these supplies. I also have some 6mm black jump rings. I've got some silver wire, and this is a 20 gauge half hard wire. And that's all I'm going to be using in terms of supplies. As well as that, I'm going to be using some tools. I'm going to be using my one-step looper to make my loops. I'm also going to need my round nose pliers because I cannot use my one-step looper on my memory wire. I have a pair of flush cutters here just in case I need them. As well, I have a pair of chain nose pliers and a pair of flat nose pliers. Now you could use 2 pairs of chain nose pliers here if you wanted to. And the final little tool I'm going to be using is my bead stopper. I just love these things. They're like a spring, they have little handles on either side, and you just squeeze them open and pop in the wire that you're using. Now I've already cut my memory wire, and I have cut about 1 1/3 loops of my memory wire because that fits quite nicely around my neck and it gives an overlap so that it's not going to fall off. Now you could cut it shorter if you wanted to and attach a clasp, but I'm not going to do that. So with memory wire, when you cut it, you cannot cut it with your good flush cutters, okay? You do need to use either some old cutters or some, better still, some memory wire cutters. And the reason for that is memory wire is made of stainless steel and it's really, really hard. And it will damage your cutters if you use them on memory wire. Normally when you use memory wire, you would put a loop in one end and then you would feed on all your beads up to that loop. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to use my bead stopper to stop the beads falling off. And the reason I'm doing that is because I don't know how many beads I'm going to need at this point. So if you've not used this before, this beautiful tool, basically you just squeeze it, pop your wire in, and it holds everything nice and firm so that the beads won't fall off. All right. So I'm going to make the focal part first, and then I'm going to fill the space around here with the extra beads. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my dangles first. So I'm just going to put my wire out of the way for a minute, and I'm going to grab my other wire here and just take off a piece. So this is 20 gauge wire. I think I said that, but just in case I didn't. And I am going to cut a piece. Doesn't matter how long because you're going to cut it anyway. By the way, if you're keen on the tools that I'm using today, aren't they absolutely stunning? These are called the Chroma plier set, and you can buy them on our website if you so desire. I'll leave a link to those in the description box below as well. All right, I've got my wire here, and I'm going to take my one-step looper, and I'm going to use that to make the loops. Now, if you haven't used one of these, I have done a whole video on how to use a one-step looper, so I will leave that in the description box below and a card up the top as well, because this tool changed my life. All right, I have made a loop in one end of my wire. See, it's a perfectly round loop and it's centered nicely on the wire. That's because I used my one-step looper. And I'm just going to take my pliers And I'm just going to give it a bit of a squeeze because it's just sitting up a little bit. I didn't want it to be doing that. All right, now I'm going to feed on some beads, and I'm going to start with one of my lovely green ones here. And then I'm going to put on a stardust bead, and then I'm going to be putting on a little bicone. Now, why did I choose these particular beads? That's what I have now. I chose the green ones because I absolutely love them. I love the colour, I love the texture of the crackle inside the bead, just nothing not to love really. I chose the stardust ones because of the texture and because they add sparkle. And I chose the bicones because of the shape, because I've got two round beads and I wanted something to offset the roundness of this, so I chose a bicone. And when I'm designing a necklace, I want to take all those things into consideration: size, shape, texture of the beads, all of that stuff. All right, now that I have my 3 beads on my wire, I'm going to take my one-step looper and I'm going to make a loop in the other end. Just feeding it through the hole. Now just be careful if you are using the one-step looper not to get too close to that bicone, because it's glass and it's quite delicate and you can break it if you're not careful. So you just want to stay away a little bit. Just give your pliers enough room to move. All right, and my loop isn't quite closed, so I'm just going to grab it on the side and lift it up and pop it into place there. So there's my first dangle. I'm going to make another couple and then I'm going to show you how I join them together. Now I have 2 dangles. I'm going to show you how I join them together to create the long dangle in the middle of the necklace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and I'm going to open the loop on the bottom of one of the dangles. If you haven't done this before, it's just like opening a jump ring, and I will leave a link in the description box below for a video all about how to use jump rings. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm holding it on the side that opens, so you can see there, hopefully, that that's where the split is, and I'm going to take my pliers on that side of the loop, hold it and support it really well with my fingers, and I'm just going to tip my hand down and open that loop. Now I'm going to put the top loop of the other dangle on there, and I'm going to close it up by just reversing that, so holding it again and bringing it back. Now if you don't close it the first time, what you do is lift up and down and push towards the centered wire until it closes nicely. So there's my dangles joined together. Now what I want to do is I want to make another one of these. I want to make one with 3 lots joined together, and I'm going to make some that are standalone. So I will come back when I've done that. So what I have laid out in front of me are my dangles. As you can see here, I have a run of 3 dangles joined together. I have 2 runs of 2 dangles, and then I have 2 lots of individual dangles on either side. As well as that, I've laid them out with a jump ring for each dangle, and I'm going to attach them with the jump rings. Now you need to make sure that your jump rings are really well closed for this project, because they may fall off the memory wire. We don't want that. So I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about that. Now if we take a look at this jump ring here, you should be able to see that it's not very well closed. Now what I want to do is make sure that it is really well closed. Now there's several ways you can do this. This one is crossed over and it might click into place if I just give it a squeeze this way, but not quite, because it's now looking a bit misshapen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 2 pairs of pliers, my chain nose and my flat nose, and you could use 2 pairs of chain nose for this, and I'm going to give it a wiggle up and down, pushing it into place. So I'm holding it on either side and wiggling up and down, and because it's crossed over, I'm actually pulling back rather than pushing towards. Now if you want to know more about jump rings, I have a whole video on that, and I will leave a link in the description box below for you on that one. So now I have a nicely closed jump ring, and I've already made sure that the others are nicely closed as well. All right, now I'm done with these beads, so I'm going to move them out of the way so we have a bit more room to maneuver. So the next thing I'm going to do is thread it all on. So I've got my bead stopper on my memory wire, and I'm going to take the other end and start feeding on beads. I'm going to put a few of my green beads on, not too many, probably about maybe 12, just to give me an idea of where I'm going with this necklace. Now, as I said, I don't really know at the moment how many beads I'm going to need because I haven't decided how long it's going to be. Well, I have, but I'm not sure how many beads it will take to fill the space. So I have 12 beads on there. Now I think I'm probably likely to need more, but for now I'm just putting 12. Now I'm going to start feeding on my dangles, but I've missed a vital step, haven't I? I need to attach the jump rings to the dangles, so let's go ahead and do that. And because I've spent quite a lot of time making sure my jump rings are closed, I'm going to open the loop on my dangle rather than my jump ring, because I want my jump rings to keep that nice integrity. So to do that, just like before, holding it on the side there, supporting the dangle with my thumb and my fingers, and just twisting. Popping on the jump ring, and then closing. Now you could absolutely do this the other way if you wanted to. You could open the jump ring if you wanted to. It's up to you. I'm just going to go ahead and do all of mine all at once. Just before we go on with that, if you are enjoying this video and you would like to see more, it would be really great if you could give me that thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so that you will never miss a thing. I really would love it if you would join our family. Now all my jump rings are attached and I am going to thread them on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread on one of my dangles, and then I'm going to thread on one bead, just so that they have some space between them. Then I'm going to thread on another dangle and another bead. And I'm going to carry on until I've got all my dangles on. That's what I have now. All my dangles are on. Now I'm going to thread on another 12 beads onto this side. Have you ever made a memory wire bracelet or necklace? I would be really interested to know if you have, and how you found working with memory wire. I gave my sister a memory wire bracelet and she needed to make it smaller because it was too large for her, and she hated it. She said it was really springy and she didn't like it. She was worried the beads would fly everywhere, and I can understand that. So what do you think about memory wire? Is it a really good tool to use or a really good material to use, or is it scary and you think you're going to fling beads all over the house? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay. Now we're onto it. It's looking quite good, but obviously I don't have enough beads on there. So what I'm going to do is thread on maybe another 6, and then on each side, and then I'm going to test it. So 6 more on this side, and then I'm going to transfer my bead stopper to this side, and then put some more on the other side. And that's why I didn't put a loop on the end, because I really wasn't sure how long it was going to take me, or how many beads it was going to take to fill this space. And now, because I've been talking, I've lost count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, one more. Okay, now I'm going to take my bead stopper off this side, whoops, and I am going to put it on this piece. And I'm going to put another 6 beads on this one, on this side. Okay, we're getting closer, but not quite there yet. I think another 2 beads on each side will do it. Because when it sits on me, it is actually going to sit out a little bit. It's not going to sit quite closed, just because that's the shape of my neck, or the size of my neck, not the shape. Maybe my neck's a different shape than everybody else's. So I'm going to put 2 more beads on each side. Okay, I feel like that's about right. What do you think? So before I put my loops on, I am actually going to test it just by putting it up around my neck here. Now I can tell that it needs about 2 more beads on either side, so I'm going to do 2 more, and that's why I tested it. Now obviously your necklace might be a different length than mine too, so I will leave the number of beads that I used, and you can decide whether or not you need more or less. What I want to do next is make sure that my beads, or my focal point, is in the center. So I'm just moving things around a little bit so that I've got about the same amount of excess on either side. You can actually almost twist it this way and test, and just move things around a little bit. As I said, it's quite pliable memory wire. All right, so I'll just take that off so we can see what we're doing. Now I think I've got about the same amount on either side of raw wire, there and there. Now there's 2 things I could do. I could cut it off, and I could make a loop, cut it off and make a loop. But I'm actually okay with having it a little bit longer, just to make it more secure on my neck. And it will just tuck in underneath the beads at the back there, I think. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to put my bead stopper on so that the beads don't fall off this one. And I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to make a loop in this end. Just move the beads out of the way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually make quite a large loop. So I'm going to put the wire in the jaws of the pliers, of the round nose pliers, at about halfway up. And I want to make sure that there's nothing sticking up. I can't feel it with my finger, just so that I get a really nice round closing loop. And I'm going to move my hand in the direction of the wire. So this curve here, I want to continue that curve around into the inside. Now some people curve their memory wire to the outside, but I find that gets caught on things, which is why I always put it to the inside or to the side. All right, so memory wire, as I said, is quite tough, so it's harder to make loops with, but it's not hard, it's just, it needs more force. So what I'm going to do is hold the wire between my thumb and my forefinger, and I'm going to twist my hand away from me. Then I'm going to just slightly let go of the pliers, turn them back round, and I'm going to twist again. And what I'm aiming for, and I might need to do it a couple of times because this is hard wire, what I'm aiming for is to have a nice closed loop. Now I actually went a little bit too far, so I'm going to move back a little bit. There we go. Now what I find is sometimes with memory wire, you actually have to give it a squeeze this way as well. I haven't got it closed. It was too much, and then it wasn't enough. So there we go, there's my nice P loop. It looks like a P or a B or a D, whichever way you hold it. And that's what I wanted on the end of my memory wire. And I'm going to repeat the same thing on this side. And then we're going to test and see if it works. So just repeating the same thing, putting the wire between the jaws about halfway up and twisting. until I get another nice closed loop. I'm just going to give it a squeeze. Now it's just sitting up a bit, so I'm going to use the same technique as I used with the jump rings, just lift it up and down just to make sure it's going to sit in the right place. Okay, so there's my necklace, but I'm going to try it on and see if it works, because I'm not sure if I want to leave those loops long or if I want to cut them off. All right, so there we go. And you can see it's sitting really nicely. It doesn't really help that I've got another necklace on. Let me take that one off. There we go. And I swear these beads are green, not blue, but with my shirt they look blue. And I'll unbutton my shirt a little bit so that you can see there's my necklace. Now, with regard to how it's sitting, I'm actually quite happy with it, with having that extra little bit of memory wire there. I wish I could show you my back, but I can't. So basically, I'll see if I can show you. It's sitting exactly like that on my neck. So it does have a little gap, but I'm okay with that. But if you wanted to, you could absolutely put more beads on and fill it up, and you could even make it so that instead of crossing over, the memory wire was like this. If you wanted to put a clasp on, you would cut your memory wire shorter, so cut your memory wire to about a centimetre longer than the beads, make your loop, and then put a clasp on using a jump ring or just a clasp onto the loop. So there's lots of options there. I'm going to put it back on now. Now what you could do here is you could make one of these dangles into an earring, and I've got an extra one here that I did make, so that would be your earring there, and that would be kind of cool too. You could even put a little charm on it if you wanted to. You could put charms on the bottoms of these dangles if you wanted to. All entirely up to you. All in all, this was a pretty quick project to do, just some stringing of some beads and making up a couple of dangles. So really it was quite quick and easy. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will make it. This necklace would look, while it looks really great with my blue shirt, it would look amazing with like a ball gown or a cocktail dress or something like that. I can just see, you know, nice open neckline and this beautiful necklace just being the star of the show. So why don't you let me know if you've got something like that planned and you are going to wear this necklace or make it to wear with your cocktail dress or ball gown or whatever. Or maybe you just want to wear it with your shorts and a t-shirt. That's absolutely fine too. It's a beautiful necklace. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed it too. Remember to follow us on Instagram and Facebook, and also check out the community tab of our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you again soon.